We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. Just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the Voices of Contact.
We are the voices of experiencers because we are the experiencers. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because truth brings powerful transformation, and we are the voices of change. We are all about evolution on an expansive level, living life without fear and becoming the bridge between two different realities. Profound evolution is here. Profound integration is here. This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary. I'm a channeler and psychic medium. I'm also a hypnosis regressionist for ET experiencers, and I work with MUFON doing regression work. I also work with PTSD experiencers, paranormal experiencers, and victims of crime to assist them in recall. I'm really looking forward to another amazing show with our panel tonight, where we delve deep to find out what's happening beyond the stars. Thank you all for joining us as we take an extensive dive into the whole new reality. There is so much more out there than we realize, and until now, we have only scratched the surface. Come with us as we explore the darkness of the universe and shed some light on the extraterrestrial experience. Disclosure is here. Now, allow me to introduce some of my most favorite people who are part of tonight's panel. First, there's Deb and RJ DeRoos. They're authors, paranormal and UFO researchers, and they're experiencers themselves. They're founders of the Michigan UFO Contact that happens every year in Houghton Lake, Michigan at the end of September. And they're also owners and managers of Mystical Awakenings Radio, Mystical Awakenings Vodcast on YouTube, and of the Mystical Awakenings Metaphysical Store in Houghton Lake, Michigan. Next, we have Deb Jordan Cobble, aka Deb 2. She was the central figure in Bud Hopkins' international bestseller, Intruders, The Incredible Visitations at Copley Woods, which was made actually into a CBS miniseries in 1992. She's co-author of the book Abducted, The Story of the Intruders Continues, and author of Extraordinary Contact, Life Beyond Intruders. She's a former Indiana MUFON investigator and co-founder of her own paranormal group, Paranormal Underground. And she also hosts the Midwest Paratalk podcast with co-founder Greg Cable. And then we have Dana Stricker. She's a born psychic medium, and she has been reading professionally since the age of 15. And while she excels in her psychic and mediumship ability, Dana is also known for her exceptional skills in remote readings. And she's also known and very well established as a medical intuitive. She has also discovered that extraterrestrials now assist her with this special ability. She reads professionally worldwide and has worked nationwide on numerous missing person cases. With the amazing panel that we have tonight, I know that anything is possible and that we are going to get deep down into discovery and find answers to what is really going on out there. This show is all about transmutating the light from the dark and replacing fear with knowledge. Because with knowledge comes true power. And through my regression work, I have come across amazing cases with fascinating clients. And it is my honor to work with them to help them have a better understanding of the contact they've had. Whether they were taken, have had contact in the physical realm, or through a dream state, we're here just to find answers. I'm blessed that my clients have agreed to allow me to use the regressions on the Voices of Contact. And tonight, this is the place to be, because the panel breaks down my clients' experiences, providing powerful feedback. And I love it because all the listeners get to connect and learn. I get to learn, and the person that was regressed walks away even more immersed in their experience with a whole new perspective on their contact. So literally, it's a win-win, right? This is the Voices of Contact. Hi, everyone. How are you guys?
Hi.
Hi.
Excited to be here. Hi,
Yeah.
Mark. Hi,
Great.
Dana.
Did you guys
Hi,
have a good
Hello.
week? Did you have a good week? Good.
Of course.
All right.
Went by real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I missed you all.
Missed you too. We need to like physically get together. Seriously.
We do. Before you
I would
went.
love that.
I would too. Come on up. Or we can meet
I would have to.
halfway.
It's a road trip.
Seriously.
Yes.
It's a haul.
I'll steal Rob's car and we can make it happen.
We have some events coming up.
Yes.
Just saying.
Trying to attend. Well, 2 I have to, but
We'll be talking, Mark.
Yeah, we will be. You're just gonna have to teach me when to shut up. Because I will go on and on for hours.
So for this episode, we're going to tap into the subconscious, but it's a whole new person. And it's a piece of a regression we did maybe about 10 episodes ago. So I don't know if you remember, but it was the woman who had the scar on her leg. So it would be the woman who, when she went through the experience, she went back to being a little kid, and the ET flipped her over and gave her an implant. And if you remember, it was really emotional because she cried.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how in tune she was.
Yeah.
But then, she progressed in that regression, and all of a sudden she was in this room, and there was somebody that was sitting across from her, and they took her on a tour, sort of like a big hallway of like ET babies. And she was part of a DNA program.
I remember this.
Yeah. And then
Yeah. You had a
then she
disclaimer in the
went,
beginning saying that you might get emotional.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And then she was taken to like meet the captain, so to speak, the head ET, and she described him as being weird looking, all these things. So this is tapping into the subconscious part to like see if we can get more answers. Okay, so for this first one, if like it was, she starts to talk about the being itself, and I asked if she'd known him from before, and she said she's just known him from the Great Void.
okay.
Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yeah.
Thank you. Is it connected to the leader that was in the Great Void?
Yes.
How is she connected?
Familiarity.
How does she know him?
Through the abductions.
Was he a big part in abducting her?
Yes.
What was the purpose of her abductions?
To study people like me and humans.
Has she ever been abducted for different reasons?
Yes.
What were those reasons?
I have different blood.
What was the purpose of that then? What interests them about her blood?
She has different blood. That's.
Like different blood than other people?
Mm-hmm.
What do they want the blood for?
Because it produces different things in those human bodies, to different conditions and different advantages and disadvantages.
Hmm.
Okay. So that makes sense a lot. So so they've been taking her blood and using it for the beings, like the babies.
I think so. That was my take on it, was to create new species.
Okay.
It's sort of like the generational contact that you hear about. It's all about their DNA.
Yeah.
So when you start out a program with a physical body, if you're an ET, in the beginning, everybody's got to have the same blood because they need blood transfusions or whatever. It's got to be the same blood. But as the program got more complex and maybe more different ETs came in and added to it, I think that's where we got our different blood types. Because does that make sense? So because you know, let's face it, it's different DNA. So, but I think like the O negative, and you're what? You're one of those, right?
I'm one of those. Yeah.
So
Everybody wants my blood.
yeah. Well, you can give blood to anybody, right?
Yeah, but I can't take blood
Right.
from anybody.
So I think in the beginning that's the way it had to be, and it does. It might be for the babies. Maybe they wanted the old blood because it sounds like she's got that. Probably O negative, whatever it is, or there's two kinds. I can't remember. One can give blood to anybody, and the other can take blood from anybody. So whatever it is.
We need Deb to do her Google since she's not here.
But yeah, I never thought about that. Mark, it could have been for the babies they had on board. Yeah.
I also have a question, if that's okay. Maybe you guys can answer it. So does she know, does she have like a connection to all of those babies? Like her essence being connected within those babies, like she feels like it's her own?
I think if I remember from the episodes, she did recognize some as belonging to her.
Yeah, that makes total sense then, for sure. Okay.
Yeah, that might not be for everyone, just maybe certain ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine experiencing something like that, honestly. That would be really a heartbreaking feeling, having that connection of having a kid, but not being able to physically have that kid, but knowing that there's like a longing or a feeling that you have, like they're somewhere, but you just don't know. And I can't imagine that would be very, very difficult to experience for sure.
Well, I was reading where they say the Greys, they got to the point where they were cloning so much that they lost their reproductive organs.
Yeah.
And the cloning is, if you keep cloning, the degree of, physical, the physical body is not, it weakens every time you do it. So they're trying to do this program where they're hybriding back into, where they can reproduce, because they can't reproduce, and you keep reproducing by cloning, your race is going to be wiped out.
Don't you think they would know better than that? Aren't they supposed to
Maybe.
be higher intelligence? Like, maybe we shouldn't do this like constantly? Or am I just assuming too much?
But if you're traveling around in space, that might be the best way to do it. If you're especially time travel, whatever,
Well, as we already know,
Yeah.
time is very different, and it's a very weird thing to kind of like mess with when it comes to, like, let's say, for example, here to Jupiter. It might take so many months to travel to Jupiter and come back, but by the time we come back, depending on where the solar system was orbiting and moving and that all comes to transition where you can come back and it can feel like 7-8 years went by, even though it might have felt like 2 years for you in the physical. And with that, I mean, you could even say with these ETs, some of them, since they've already experienced knowing how to time travel, and they've already kind of have that time traveling kind of thing set, there's some grays that come from the future. There's some that already do know some of that information, while other different grays may not know any of this information, and they might still be learning while they're moving forward, just like us. And we make mistakes just like how they make mistakes.
Mhm.
I mean, even our spirit guides have spirit guides. So I mean, nothing's
Yeah.
perfect, you know.
Right.
And does the creator have a creator? That's the question. So
I know, right?
Stop.
I know that is
And
my
from
bucket.
what we know, there are several different types of grays.
Yes.
So, kind of like humans.
You know, I think they got
Yep.
they got out of the raising the babies and the family part. They got into this just a higher dimensional type thinking where that wasn't important to them anymore. But just I just need a new body. Just make another one, and I'll put my consciousness in that
That's
one.
laziness.
That's true. But
Please correct me.
it did backfire.
It's like dogs.
Yeah, dogs. Right.
Mhm.
Yep. So I think they're trying to reestablish that and take care of that, and going back into time and doing this hybrid program where they're going to be to save their people.
Yeah. Yeah, and the hybrid program's been going on for quite a long time.
Decades,
Yeah, literally decades. And
at least from what we know of.
it makes sense why we would be so important to them. They impregnate many earthly beings or use possibly sperm from some of the earthly beings. We hear more about the cases of the moms, but we've had a few, maybe only one regression, Mary,
Male,
do you
yeah,
remember, of a male who, was the father. So, it is an important task to them. I don't know about universally, but
to Dana's point, they're doing it without our permission, and they're doing it because the military is getting you. They're telling them you can do it, and we'll in exchange for technology. Because,
You still should get permission.
I know, and you know what? They don't really care about the permission, but I think it's changed since then. It's not so evasive, and I think it's as we're waking up, we know it goes on. More people are aware of it, but in the beginning, yeah, I mean, it's like, I heard they even said, "Well, you can have one of your medical doctors go along with us to see where they were not doing anything harmful." That kind of
Can you
thing.
imagine a medical doctor doing
What the hell are you doing?
and then they're all excited or not, and they get off the ship and they're like, can tell no one that they work with that they had
Exactly.
this happen.
Well,
You would
they
think the Men in Black would have been in that room instantly. Like, you are not to talk about this.
Or they erase the memory or whatever.
they may have had their memories erased and may
Yeah.
not even remember
I
it.
mean, that's
But they're
possible.
skilled.
Another reason we so trust them. What was I saying about mind control?
Yeah,
But that's why we have Mary.
yeah, and that's not
That's true.
It's not only the mantis beings that do the mind control. It's
I am aware of that,
Well,
but
I think it's changed now, and I think since 1996, we have control of our lives now more than we did, and we're not getting influenced by the draconian Orion people who are the negative people, where the Pleiades and the Andromedas and councils come in, and pretty much we're on our own now, and we're trying to evolve. So
right. And thinking back on this regression, excuse me, this woman did go through hell. I mean, I remember it being so emotional with this one.
she was frightening.
But this was several years ago.
Yeah.
And we've seen this quite often on this show where these older, 30, 40 years ago, people who were experimented with or impregnated or whatever had a lot different experience than people that are going through being experimented with now.
Mm-hmm.
They do seem to have more compassion, or at least they're kinder now. Where it used to be, you pick up the rat and you do whatever and you toss it back.
It's a kinder, gentler.
Right.
Catch and release, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's, it's a good thing. I mean, it's good, but it could be better.
Well, it has changed, and I think
could ask,
and I think it may even stopped. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think it might be even over that program. But I mean, I have to agree though that a lot of us didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of us did have choices in the physical, just like how Dana said, like they're doing it without, us wanting it, but we also don't know what our soul came here for either.
Right.
So our soul might have wanted to have that experience too.
Yeah.
And that's the part that we don't know. Only our physical can know in the physical,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's hard for a lot of people to separate that. The fact that we're talking about the physical body that is being changed and being manipulated in DNA, but the soul, where that's created from, is a different whole ballgame.
Yeah,
it's from a different area, different
That's
source,
the consciousness, the source,
different source. It's all the
energy.
one consciousness.
it's also what they work with.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why it's like we have to like subtract the physical to understand what the spiritual or the essence of our soul is working with when it comes to these beings, because these beings, I mean at least not all, but a lot of them can materialize and dematerialize, transform into a physical to a non-physical, to having a light body to not having a light body. But it also depends on our own physical consciousness and how we interpret things and how we can even decipher what we're looking at, because some of us may not really understand the geometrics of what their body may look like.
Right. Yeah, the slower you vibrate, the more solid things are,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for this next clip, she was having experiences with ET coming into her room. So we just posed a question of exactly who they were, what they were, and what for.
So they use the blood for the hybrids? Mm-hmm. Why do they use it for the hybrids? To do the DNA sequencing things. How often have been taken? Many, many times. So the short ET beings that were coming into the room, what species are those? No. They're unknown? Mm-hmm. What were they doing in her room? They're just a worker race. Just a worker race? Mm-hmm. So just a different complete species? Mm-hmm. What kind of work were they doing in her room? They're in charge of removing the body. So they come to take her? Mm-hmm. And where do they take her? To the ships on the void. To the ships on the...
From the ships to the void?
Yeah. She always talks about the void.
You know what? It's kind of reminding me, or at least this is the feel that I get. Like, how Bigfoot or Sasquatch, how they can move from portal to portal, where they can just go from one side of the forest to the other just in a second. I wonder if maybe that's kind of similar to what they are doing when it comes to moving a physical body. Maybe they're opening something that they can just walk right through and they can go to like the void in a sense, where the ship was, from what she was mentioning.
And that may be just vibrating your frequency a little faster, and you're somewhere else.
Yeah,
You hear that?
and they probably need to help. I'm hearing that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they probably need to help her make her body transform to that void. Why they're helping.
Did you guys hear when she said two at the very beginning? She said that was not her voice. That was a different voice totally. It sounded a male voice coming in. Who's talking with us?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I keep hearing
Somebody's
a lot of talking.
A lot. Yeah.
This is crazy. I've never heard it that bad.
Dana, can you hear that?
I would say it's feedback, but it's not matching RJ's voice.
Yes, it's not matching.
Or
I don't
anybody's.
hear anything on my side.
There was moments we were all completely quiet and it was going.
Yeah.
What does it sound like?
Just somebody talking and mumbling in the background.
I got nothing.
It sounds like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
The way Snoopy talks, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard
But I
that
have
thing before, but I did not hear it during this.
But do you guys think that it might be a sentient being that like a not like 100% living being, because they're saying that they're like worker ETs, and they're saying that they're unknown.
The droid?
Maybe.
And I've heard that before where, people who, the experiencers who have been taken talk about how there's some that just come to collect them. And then when they make contact on the UFO, that the head people are who they see.
Artificial intelligence, maybe?
Yeah, several times on the show we've had different types of beings working together with one person to accomplish whatever that mission is. Yeah,
I
and
heard something there.
I did sense different voices coming from her,
Yeah.
almost like she was part talking, somebody else was part talking.
And you guys, you'll hear it when you play it back.
Do we know who the hybrids are?
Do we know who they are? No, but I think I've met a few.
Yeah.
Like the hybrids that she was talking about in this last clip. She was saying they use her blood for the hybrids. And I know the hybrids are like the babies, but I'm just wondering who are the hybrids? Did she ever figure out like who those beings are? Like what they were, what she was connected with? Like any
half human gray or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had the sense that hybrids can be different species mixed with humans. And I've for a long time had this feeling, whatever, that, they're just trying to come up with a race that's like between them and us, evolving us into a different race and evolving them into a different race. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think
I was curious
here.
I was curious if maybe she knew who the hybrids were to like kind of maybe get a full sense of like who we're working with,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it might give us an idea of what they're really doing.
Was this the same lady that was so upset she got left behind? They left me.
No, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is the one who, when she was a little girl, had that implant.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And it hurt her leg, yeah.
Yep.
She cried.
So for this next clip, they take her. We talk about like what ships they're taking her to.
Okay.
So back to where they're making hybrids or different ships? To the study ships.
Oh, so a different one. So where they take her to study?
Hmm
What kind of things would they study?
They study the genetics, the DNA, the blood, and processes of digestion and the heart.
What's important? What's so important about the digestion?
Certain types have different digestive conditions or disadvantages than others.
You got to get used to different kind of. Yeah, they would have to get used to
Not the
different.
first time we've heard that. Remember the one where the woman regressed to being a little girl, and the craft landed in her yard, and they were coming to check on her to see how well she was adapting
Right.
to Earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, diet would be different wherever you were placed. So
Mhm.
that makes total sense to me. That would be an important factor. What type of foods are you going to be able to handle?
Mm-hmm.
They place some here and say, we need to keep an eye on this one because, not so sure she's going to be able to handle the environment on that planet and what they eat.
Makes you wonder in that lab when they're trying to test all this DNA, if they're taking DNA from certain like produce from other planets or certain like food products to see like how it would interact with the blood or something, because there's got to be a connection to the whole DNA laboratory that she keeps bringing in and comparing while she's talking through the story.
Or maybe cows.
From what I remembered, the reason why they used to use cow is for the cow bone,
Yeah.
the bone and the blood, like something about their bone. There's a certain liquid that's inside that where it helps create more hybrids or something like that.
Yeah.
I think they're milking that one.
If you think about it,
Yeah.
really, all the animals in us, our human body, the DNA is not too far off from everybody. It's just a little tweak here and there, just a couple chromosomes or just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I remember, like there was a lot of like the whole stories of like the mutilated cows and stuff like that they used to find, and how they were like so precisely cut, like they were just like it's impossible, like there was nothing a human could have done to have cut this the way that they did.
Right.
So they were probably cutting and getting certain pieces of what they needed to be able to do whatever work they were doing.
Right.
But
And an
wish I was a
interesting
fly on
fact-
the wall for those labs to know like
Right.
what they've been doing.
Yeah, but typically when they would find these cows that had been dissected like that, there was no blood.
Yeah.
So did they drain all the blood first? How,
Maybe.
They're vampires.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wonder how close our DNA, our blood is to cows.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just call me Elsie.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to have a study on that. I'm sure somewhere you can look that up.
Right.
For
Yep.
sure.
Have to Google that.
That was the other guy.
Utter guy. You're an utter guy.
Really creamed that one. Sorry. Sorry, Mary.
Mary knows we're crazy.
I know you are.
We're not in
So
the
for
mood.
this next clip, she was exploring an experience where she remembered being with an ET being, and they had some kind of tool with them. So she wanted to see what that experience actually was and what it was doing with the tool.
So, remembers an experience, and the ET was doing something with their jaw with a tool, and this was a tall gray. What was he doing? He was trying to heal the misalignment. So he was healing her, trying to fix her? Somewhat. Was he able to do it? Not completely at that time. Did he come back and do it at a different time? Mm-hmm. Do they do this often? Not always. Not always? What is he to nothing. He was just trying to heal her.
Did that cut out or was it me?
Yeah.
Cut out.
Okay.
I cut out her name.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
That's
So the
why I
tool
hear
was
it
used on
glitch
her
every once in
jaw?
a while. What were you saying, Mark?
The tool, it was used on her jaw?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to her jaw?
It just needed realignment. So I don't know if it was the way she was developing, you know, how they come and check on you as you're growing, you know, and maybe it was an adjustment they needed to make because she wasn't developing the way she was supposed to. Sort of like the one gentleman who, you know, goes to the mother craft and then gets checked over because he has asthma and other ailments.
It could have been the teeth too. He could have been doing something with the teeth.
Yeah. I kind of wish she would have described the tool.
Yeah.
Sometimes, at least with mine, with my regressions, sometimes like things are said where it's almost metaphorically speaking. So it's sometimes not the physical way that I'm speaking. Like, for example, they're fixing her jaw. Maybe it's not really fixing her jaw. Maybe it's more or less helping her speak better or helping her use her voice better. Or, you know what I mean? Like there maybe could be another type of way of looking at it, a different perspective in a sense. So I guess I was just kind of digging to see if maybe there might have been another meaning behind it.
Well, as far as I know, she hadn't remembered anything wrong with her jaw.
Okay.
So my assumption was, like I had said, that maybe they were just doing an adjustment because something wasn't developing correctly.
Yeah.
Or maybe some microchip.
To help her, giving her information to share later.
Possibly.
Yeah, thanks for opening minds on that, Mark. I think that's important that people realize that sometimes it's not as exact as what it sounds. Sometimes there's a different meaning behind what's coming out.
That's what makes my regressions very difficult to try to like really wrap my mind around it, because sometimes it's meaning it in the physical and sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in the moment, you're feeling all kinds of things, so it's kind of hard to get everything 100% right when you snap out of it.
Right. Yeah, and we know, I mean, we hear a lot about them healing. So when you asked, do they do this often? And she said, not always.
But she is taken many times, she said. So
right. So maybe they're not doing it to her always, but they do it with, I don't know.
Right.
But that was interesting.
It is.
I do think there are some that do genuine healing work, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Dana's still here. I'm still here. There's a lot of things that you can't explain. I had 2 brain tumors and suddenly they're gone. And what happened in my experience before that, they were doing something with my head. So, they do some crazy stuff that we don't always understand, but yeah. Yeah.
They knew they had to keep you around to keep RJ in line.
Right. It does. It
That's
has.
impossible. That's impossible.
RJ's face was like, "Where's the lie?"
Yeah. He crosses that line every day.
Keeping you on your toes.
Yeah. Keeps me young, not. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking what they're doing with her because of what Mark said, that makes sense to me. So they may be healing her in different ways that she doesn't even see. It may not be a physical heal.
She may not need to know either at this moment.
Right.
Maybe she'll figure out the reasons why they're doing this later on once she's like ready.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is probably just the beginning stages for her to just expand her mind enough to understand or to I don't know, maybe figure out the more questions to ask, to dig a little bit deeper to the meaning behind it all. Sometimes they just wait for the right question to give you the right answer. Sometimes you just have to ask them 10 times in different ways just to finally get the answer that you're looking for. But that is very fascinating. Like, I'm kind of intrigued on the tool that they were using too.
Yeah. I want to know. I just want to know. What is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mary, is this the same regression? I mean, did you do one regression on her and this is all part of that?
Yep.
Okay. I thought maybe it was a whole new regression.
Nope, this is just the subconscious part.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think she's getting some good information.
She's at least getting the answers that she was looking for.
Right.
More of a story to the experience. The behind the scenes look type thing. This is what I know happened, but this is the rest of it. It gives you inner peace.
Right.
Good. That's all that matters.
Yep.
Or more questions.
Because if you think about it, you go, 30, 40 years dealing with all this information in your head and kind of wondering what actually happened. When you decide to explore it and you get your answers, it settles a lot down for you.
Right. Or you spend years thinking, I must be crazy because that couldn't really have happened.
Yeah.
I do that daily.
See? How many times have we talked about this, Mary? Dana needs a regression.
I know it.
I love you, Dana. I know. She will when the time is right.
When she's ready.
Yeah.
When they chloroform UFO contact and I disappear for 2 hours, y'all know what's going on.
Well, do you want Mary to do regression or a mantis?
You're so naughty.
I'm just saying,
I'm not necessarily afraid of them. I just do not trust them.
Right.
And they wear little tiny robes. Ugh. Show your whole body, you insect.
I don't think they want us to see that.
I probably don't want to see it either, but it's like, here's the story. I like things. I don't mess around. I like black and white. Give me the deal. Give me the flat out. Don't be like dancing around in a little brown robe or whatever you're wearing. It's bad enough you're in my room.
Open it up and flash me.
You're really taking the whole thing in a whole new level when you're like, let me picture you naked.
Bugging me.
Maybe they're a little modest,
Maybe they should knock first.
Yeah.
I hear you knocking.
All right, for this very last one, she talks a little bit about missing time and then goes into other experiences.
Oh. Okay.
The time that missing time, what happened there? That's when she's abducted. So she has missing time more than she thinks? Mm-hmm. Okay. What is the yellow being that was sitting on her chest and looking at her?
It's from a future time.
A future time?
Mm-hmm. In relation to Earth time. It's a future time.
So it came from the future?
It's not really the future. It's just a future time compared to what Earth time is.
Okay. What was it doing there?
I had studied a lot, and she taught him stuff, and he wanted to know why she taught him certain things.
Did she tell him why?
No.
No.
He extracted it.
And what is he to her?
A student.
A student? Can you describe what he looks like for me?
He's more an ethereal being with his light body. He came.
Is that why he kind of looks yellow?
Mm-hmm.
Yellow?
Mm-hmm.
There's an interesting twist, huh?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's so much to unpack on just that clip. It's not even funny.
No, right? Wow.
So the yellow being was more of a light being, and it was sitting on her chest in a future time.
Well, it was in the present time for her, but it was like he was from the future, but not far from the future. Just, we'll put it in perspective. Maybe it was a day away type future, the way
Okay.
she described it.
And he just cops a spot on her chest?
Yeah.
It must be a smaller being or something.
I would certainly hope so.
Well, a light being, I mean, it's not going to have like weight and.
But why sit on the chest? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. But also, she mentioned that he was a student, or that she was a student.
No,
I don't think he was. That she had been doing a lot of research.
And teaching.
And at that point in time, she had taught him stuff, and he wanted to know what it was.
And she didn't.
It's like they're
tell
friends
him.
and they're learning from each other, and that's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
But he
Except for he stole
extracted.
it. Yeah.
He extracted the
Extracted it.
information. She didn't give it to him. He extracted it. So my first thought was, oh, that's going to tick Dana off.
Yes. You're very
They
astute.
just take the information.
But she's also allowing it. Because if she didn't want this experience, it wouldn't have happened.
I guess. I don't know. Never mind what I am. Y'all know what I am.
So maybe it was like a parallel universe type thing,
Maybe.
where in a different, dimension, that's what she was doing. Her hybrid self is teaching other ones, things. And so he decided to plop over into a different dimension with her. And maybe, just maybe, he plopped into the wrong one and didn't realize it.
And maybe, like, in that dimension he plopped into, she was a couch, which is why he sat on her chest.
There you go.
It's crazy to me.
The possibilities are endless.
It is.
So-
'Cause who knows? I could have been a couch in a past life.
Yeah. For me, I'm thinking, okay, he's sitting on her chest. Maybe that has something to do with her heart chakra, working at her heart chakra.
Mhm.
But it's yellow, so that would be more solar plexus. So,
All I can think of is how Mork used to sit on Mork and Mindy.
oh my God.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
If you don't, look it up.
I
You'll
love
understand. Yeah.
So what exactly was he extracting from her? Just knowledge?
Yep, just all the stuff that she taught him.
Okay. I mean, it could have been worse.
because she wasn't going to give him the information.
See, he wasn't supposed to take the information.
But that's interesting because it's information that she taught him.
True,
So she
but maybe
hadn't
he
given
wasn't
him-
supposed to have it in whatever dimension they were in. See, this is where my mind starts to go down that rabbit hole, and it freaks me out. So
I think you want to know why she was teaching that particular stuff. Why?
Yeah, I kind of want to as well because there's got to be a purpose behind it.
Yeah, like why were you teaching me this?
But if she didn't want to do that,
Yeah.
that again, I don't know. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah, so maybe he wasn't ready for that information, and that's why her, her subconscious wasn't ready to hand it over. But he took it.
Just
I don't know.
interested to know what kind of being this really was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like after that last clip, like as soon as it ended, I was like, I have so many questions.
That's the first time I've heard of a yellow anything.
Well, they did say it was a light being, and maybe in her perspective, looking at it in yellow, maybe that might represent something too, due to it being her perspective.
Maybe it was more
What
like
does
an
yellow
aura.
represent?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
More like a what?
Like an
Aura.
aura.
Yeah.
Well, I think back a couple of weeks when we had the gentleman who had the red beam of light around his root chakra.
yeah, where he felt it on his waist.
Yeah. Or his hips or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, this could be kind of the same type of thing.
And we all know that color is just frequency, really.
Mhm.
And it's frequency before actual sound or physical color.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Yeah, very interesting. When I had my experience in 2016 and I saw the pyramid, it was surrounded with gold, very bright gold, golden light. Some people could think that was yellow. I'm colorblind, so to me it was gold. Maybe to somebody else it would be yellow. But when I think of that, I see gold. So gold is always like right there for me.
Your physical is colorblind.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, maybe there's something with the colors that people get.
Mm.
Yeah. Frequency, vibration. Is this, who knows? Who knows? We're guessing here. But
When you listen to these voices in the background, it sounds like a whole little crowd, like you're,
It does.
yeah, like a bunch of people are talking, but it's real faint.
Sorry, that's my phone. It's beeping.
so maybe we're interdimensional. I didn't hear your phone beep.
Yeah.
I didn't hear
Oh,
your
good.
beep.
Good, because it was beeping really loud on my end. I felt bad.
Now, why wouldn't we hear that?
You know what? It was like maybe they're watching us and they've got all kinds of monitors on, and they said, well, they're just commenting on what we're talking about.
That Dana Stricker's causing trouble again.
Yeah.
They're on to us.
They're on, yeah.
Well, we know there's other dimensions with other lives going on. And,
Oh, yeah.
maybe when we all get together and do this, we're just tapping in somehow.
There's rumors have it that Lemuria and Atlantis and all of them still exist. They're just in another dimension right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or we're in another dimension.
Yep.
Anything's possible.
Hmm?
All the variabilities.
Well, that's all we have for tonight, you guys. So a big thank you to, the person that let us
Yes.
use this for the show. Big thanks to Mark for
Yeah.
joining
Thanks
us.
for having me. Seriously. I had a lot of fun.
It was great.
And it was very fascinating.
Yeah, thanks a lot for
You brought a lot to the show. Thank you.
No, seriously, thank you for having me. I appreciate that, really.
We'll have to do it again.
That's
I
right.
love that.
Yep.
You just let me know. Anytime for you guys.
Bye.
Have a
Dana.
good night, you guys.
Bye.
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 you.
We're the voices of experiencers, and we are the experiencers of extraterrestrials. just what's out there in the abyss, in the darkness of the unknown. It's time for disclosure and it's time for truth, because what lies in the darkness brings powerful transformation. We're the bridge between two different worlds, with one foot in this reality and one in the next. The shift is here, along with profound integration. Just who are extraterrestrials and what are their plans? It's time to find out with the Voices of Contact.